Welcome to the GameMaker FastTrack. So here's the situation. You've got a lot of code here, right? It's taking up a lot of space you might want to use for something else. If only there was some way to compress it all. And the answer is functions. If variables are little boxes that store information, then you can think of functions as little machines that take in information, do stuff with it, and optionally spit out other information. To demonstrate, here's a simple function that takes two variables as input, or arguments to use the official term, adds them together inside the function, and then returns the result. In GameMaker, there are two main ways to make functions. You can either put them in a script, which are essentially snippets of code that any object in the game can use, or you can assign them to an object, creating what's called a method variable. Right now, for simplicity's sake, we're going to make a method in our player's create event. Making a method is similar to making a variable, except instead of putting a value, you put function with parentheses, and then some bracketed code. We're going to copy-paste all our movement code into a method called some variation of movePlayer. As always, pick a naming scheme and stick to it. Now, put movePlayer into your step event and play your game. You'll see it works exactly the same, but now your step event is a lot cleaner. If you look at movePlayer, you'll notice that the keyboard check function is also a function. Who knew? It's one of GameMaker's default functions. Unlike its default variables, the default functions are extremely useful, and I'll be using many without immediate explanation throughout the series. Why not explanation? Because GameMaker has a wonderful feature. If you middle-click on any default function, it will immediately take you to GameMaker's official documentation concerning what that function does. There's a lot there, and I won't be able to cover everything, but I trust you to figure things out. As long as we're on a roll, why don't we go a bit further? First, create an object and sprite for a bullet. I'm using a small red circle. Then put another method in your create event, this time some variation of fireBullet, and then put fireX and fireY in the parentheses with a comma between them. With this default function, create a bullet object in your room at the coordinates fireX and fireY, and put it in the instances layer. In the grand tradition of Tom Francis and Sarah Spalding, we'll be making a twin-stick shooter style game. In your step event, check to see if the left mouse button is clicked, and then call fireBullet, passing in the default variables mouse X and mouse Y. Now, play your game and start clicking around. Red circles will appear everywhere. But in your step event, you can clearly see the capabilities your player has. They can move, and fire bullets anywhere the mouse clicks. That's the real power of functions, readability and versatility. You might also want to change your controls to WASD. Using the arrow keys and mouse together is really uncomfortable. Next time, you'll actually be making your player fire bullets and learning to control time itself. See you then!